And we are live.
Hello and welcome to the Bennetts Life podcast.
They might not hear that because it's not in the mic.
Oh. That doesn't sound as good.
Casey brought one of the kids' toys because she wanted to do a...
I need to work on it.
She wanted to do a theme.
I have a better one at school. I have a better one at school, but I didn't want to take it away from my school. So.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about marriage. Our experiences, thoughts, maybe there's a few tips and tricks. I don't know, we'll see where it goes. But the topic today is marriage. So let's kick things off. Me and Casey have been married for over 4 years now.
Yep, 4.5 years almost.
Feels like 40.5 years some days. But yeah, 4 years. 27, you're 28, right?
29.
We got married when I was 23 and you were 24, right?
25.
No, I always get it wrong. So yeah, you are 2 years older than me. So yeah, there's a lot to discuss. Like, we were pretty young in comparison when people get married, I think. I mean, there's younger. Obviously, people get married out of high school, 18s and 19s, but I still think 23 and 25 is a young age.
Yeah.
In the 4 years of marriage so far, we've
had struggles.
There's been times where we thought it wasn't going to work, times when we thought it was going to work. And you pull your head in a little bit here.
Chris, do I need to flip this camera so you're not staring at it the whole time?
No, it's you keep going out of the frame, that's why. But yeah, so mainly we're going to get into maybe it's the ups and downs of a young marriage, of an early marriage. Like, we obviously can't speak on 20 plus years of marriage because we're not there yet, but we can speak on what we've got. So nearly 5 years of marriage, which some people don't even get past year one.
Seriously, yeah.
The marriage divorce ratio right now is in favor of divorce as well. Like, there's more people get divorced than stay married.
Well, and I think that part of our, like a large part of our marriage journey is the fact that we got married. I don't think it was our age that was like making it struggle in the beginning, but like the amount of time that we had known each other.
Yeah.
You know? So like, I don't think it would have mattered if we had gotten married younger or like later. It was just that we had only known each other for a short period of time before we got married, which made it like hard. Like, so we were basically going through like all of our like dating and like getting to know each other, how to work, how to like be in a relationship together when we were already married. So yeah. I think that's where like our struggles came in.
And if you listen to our last podcast, you'll learn why we had to get married so quickly, due to me immigration and staying in America. But I think maybe age did play a part in me maybe finding the first year difficult in marriage, just because my life, maybe it was lifestyle of a person of that age. As a 21, 22-year-old,
yeah,
I lived a pretty...
wild.
Yeah, that's... I don't know if I was going to use that word, but yes, it was pretty wild. I did a lot, and it wasn't necessarily the most responsible, and I probably wasn't the most mature. And this kind of came and changed everything, basically. Like
Yeah, I think you kind of went from, like, one end of the spectrum to the other,
yeah, and I think I probably didn't have the tools to guide myself through that well.
Yeah.
Or at least, I don't know.
The support.
Yeah, the support, or just to make it a little bit more of a smoother transition, because there was a lot. Like, I went from, and you probably can say the same, went from being obviously single to doing whatever you want to, and not really caring about what you have to affect on any other people. Then all of a sudden, like that, there's always another person you've got to consider it. Like, and now it's a second nature. We've been married for long enough, but take a 21-year-old and ask them to seriously consider somebody else in every decision that they make, and I guarantee that they will not succeed in every single decision. Like, if I wanted to get to a point, all right, I want to go do this, and as a single person or a young person, I would have just went and done it, no thought in the world. But now, not now, but then when we first got married in the first year, it was like, how do I make this choice now? Is it something that I should change completely? Is it something I should continue to do? And these are things that I just didn't have answers to, which I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that added on to the difficulties of anybody's first year of marriage. And just so you know, our first year of marriage wasn't the picture perfect marriage at all. It was a very difficult first year.
It was rocky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that maybe, and I don't know if it like I had an easier time. Like obviously we're like in the marriage together, so we're both struggling in our relationship. But I think that Chris went from like partying and drinking to like a complete like basically like cold turkey on drinking and going out. So I think even if you weren't married at that time, like just I think like that would have been an adjustment itself.
There was a lot of changes all at once.
Yeah.
And I think the marriage aspect of it was a catalyst to it. It was the reason why all of them happened all at once, but not to say that they didn't need to happen, because they did. So I think age for me personally did play a factor. Not necessarily, oh, I'm young and I shouldn't be doing it. It was more like the maturity and my ability as a man to handle certain situations. And I obviously didn't have the tools necessary to do it because I didn't handle things very well. I was explosive, very loud and very short temper. Not really willing to listen to anybody, and just thought I was correct the whole time. Sometimes I'm still like that. There's certain moments still where I can be like that, but I would say that that's almost a secondary personality trait to me now, whereas then it was my go-to. The minute Casey said something I didn't like, it was, fuck you, how dare you, get out my face, and then I walk out or something like that. And I can't recall the last time I've acted like that, especially now that we've had a kid, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think age maybe was a factor for Chris more than it was for me. I don't know if it's because I am like, Chris likes to say 2 years, but it's like a year and a half older. And like, and we came from different backgrounds. So we had different life experiences. Like, I think America versus England, like, or European, like you develop at different stages, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like maturity wise.
Well, I think that you were from a lifestyle where you had to be mature earlier on in regards to like going to college and stuff like that. And I just think we had two different lifestyles.
Sorry, we got the kid running around. So yeah, I think, but now we had time to get to know each other, and we have definitely worked on our relationship. On communicating is a big issue, I think, in any relationship, but like in our like marriage, communication was like where we were struggling because I'm not like a great communicator. I don't know why. Just I think you're kind of like you're a product of your environment. So like my parents' relationship affects like how I am, not in relationships, but like how I communicate, and like same with Chris, like the environment that he came from with his parents affects him. So I think that and those environments are complete opposites. Like we didn't both grow up with the same type of parents, like the way his parents communicate and the way my parents communicate are completely different. So that affected our relationship because he's used to one thing and I'm used to something else, and those things are complete opposites. So that's where a lot of
well, I come from I guess it's where I'm from. Maybe it's a Northeast thing, maybe it's an English thing, but I come from where my parents could be having a disagreement. They'd have a sort of argument, and then 10 seconds later they're fine. They've got to say their piece. They had a quick Barney. He's drawn on his head.
Yeah, I know.
Bodhi has a pen and he's drawn on his head. But yeah, I come from an environment where like they will argue, but then immediately after it's done, for the most part, they're just back to normal because they've said what needs to be said. And I'd say your parents are more talk it out, or what?
I think it's not talking it out. I think it's not communicating and just keeping it to yourself and like holding a lot of things in. So I think that's kind of where our problems came in, because I hold a lot of things in and I don't say things, and then so not like we're having a fight and Chris doesn't know about it sort of thing, but like I'm like keeping a lot of how I'm feeling about situations and about like things to myself. And Chris, I think Chris tries to hold stuff as well, but like then when it comes out, it's like an explosion and it turns into an argument. So now we're in an argument thing, and then Chris is ready to move on from the argument, and I am not ready to move on from the argument because I'm still like have residual, I don't know how to explain it. Like he's ready to click back on to like, oh, okay, we argued and now we're fine. And I'm like, no, we argued and I'm not fine yet. I need some time to like cool off and, you know, like ease back into us being okay, which only caused more arguing and fighting because Chris be like, can't you just get over it? Can't you just drop it over it? Can't we just be okay? And I'm like, no, it's not a light switch. Like that's what's always my thing. Like I can't just switch it on like, oh, now I'm fine. Like we argued and everything's back to normal. Like that's not how I work. So, and I think that led to even more like arguing, don't you think?
Yeah, our different ways that we handle the outcome of an argument. Like once I've said my piece and I've heard Casey's piece and I'm ready to move on at that point. I don't want to waste any more time on it or energy. And sometimes Casey takes way longer to process whatever's just been said. Whereas me, I can light switch it. I can go from being pissed off to happy in a second, you know. And but vice versa, I can go from happy to being pissed off in a second also. Which that doesn't help situations. But I think we're getting better at it. We definitely are. But just full disclosure here, I'd say there's been 2 points in our nearly 5-year marriage so far where we've really thought about not being with each other. Mm-hmm. Where we've seriously considered walking away, calling it, saying it's just not working, and then that's made choices. That's made us have to work, you know, made us have to work to make it right. We can't just. They weren't situations where you could just be like brushing it off. Oh, we'll be fine tomorrow, because we wouldn't be fine tomorrow, you know. It would have. Yeah. And like one was in year 1 and one was in year 2. I know it's nothing. I wouldn't say people probably think it's serious and stuff. No, nobody cheated. Nobody did anything bad like that.
Yeah, no, it's not.
No, we're not that. I don't think that's ever going to be a problem for us. But I do think the issues that we had were ones that many couples will have, even if they're not married. Like communication, I'd say, was the first one. We had a lot of external stress in our life, but minus that, we just weren't talking. We wouldn't say what needed to be said to each other, and we just pretended for too long. And then it got to a point where pretending wasn't an option anymore, and everything just kind of came to the surface, and it was we realized we had some pretty severe differences.
That's what I think the major one was. Like, we are completely different people, and we see things different ways, and we go about our lives different ways, and trying to get those two lives or two views to like come together, to work together, not even, but like to see eye to eye was a problem, you know. We weren't to the point where it's like, it's okay that you see it this way and I see it this way and we can move on, you know. It was like, well, you have to see it my way, and that's not going to work. You know, like if you don't think this way, then you're wrong, and we're gonna fight until you do think this way, which is not gonna work for either one of us. Like, I am not gonna make him see things my way, and he's not gonna make me see things his way. You know, we just have to be okay that we're two different people, you know.
And I think we're at a point now where we still fight. We're not gonna lie about that, but they're much more controlled arguments. Yeah. And I don't know how people take that. When we say fight, we don't hit each other. Like, we just argue. It's not that physical. Some people might think, oh, we fight and we just shit out of each other. No, we just talk. Or
yell.
Yell.
Well, we used to yell.
Well, he's the yeller right there. But yeah, we're better at it. And so some tips that I believe that really worked for me, because I really didn't want to see anybody else's opinions.
Well, and one other thing before you say the tips is like how a lot of our arguments would start would be like, it would have just been conversations, but like we could not have a conversation without like, oh, well, it seems like you're getting defensive, or it seems like you're getting, I don't know how you explain it. You know what I'm saying? Like now I think we have a lot of conversations, which back then we would have been arguments, you know? So
it's like that leads into the first tip. Imagine you've got a point in your mind, like the the plate should be here. All right. Now, prior to mentioning something to your other half, like say Casey put something in the dishwasher in the wrong way. This is a stupid example because I don't care about the dishwasher at all. But okay, anything. You want something done one way and the other person does it another way, and you're upset by this. Now, could you just go along with it? is it really a big deal? Like, does it really matter that your clothes are folded one way? Does it really matter that you put a black shirt in with a blue t-shirt? Like, just stupid stuff like that. That really, at the end of the day, makes no difference in the big picture. Like, the plate is in the bottom drawer versus the top drawer. These stupid things that eventually enough of them get pent up and it becomes a big thing, you know?
Right.
Like,
Well, and I think like initially in our marriage, because we had so many external stresses, that even the little things that would have just been like, oh, hey, can you do this? Like, it was like the little straw that broke the camel's back, you know? And it was like, boom, argument, you know?
So take it, if it's something small, take a deep breath, look at it and say, 1, does it really make a difference? And 2, can I just fix it without having to say something? Like, just get on with it, you know? Like, then you're not going to ruin your day. You're not going to fight about it. And you probably just get over it. The minute you move that plate from the bottom to the top, it's done. You don't have to care, you know? There's no fighting about that.
Yeah, but I think if you're holding in those things, that could also lead to an argument, you know?
Casey's just getting mad right now because